Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So this session is about living a life of purpose. I'm going to ask you all to do a lot of thinking around this. And I also want to request the volunteer to have a spare mic, and you will have a workout during this session because you will have to go to all the ones who want to either share a reflection or ask a question. Okay. So before we get to something as lofty as life's purpose, we need to be clear about why we do what we do, right? And therefore, we can just take the activities we do during a regular day as a barometer and explain why we do what we do. So what I would suggest is, I'm seeing that some of y'all have paper and pen, and if the others don't, you can just mentally make a note or on your phone. If you take any regular day, from the time that you wake up and till the time you get to sleep, what are the various activities that you do? Okay, so you listen to the instructions first. And what is the purpose of that? Is it okay? Take a regular day. So let's say you wake up at 7 a.m. or any time, and then your entire day is structured in a way that you have like 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever slots. So assuming that you are awake for 16 hours, 12 to 16 hours every day, what are the kind of things that you do, and what is the purpose of that? Why are you doing what you're doing? Okay, I give you about 3 minutes to make a note of this. Have we got about 50% down? Stuff, huh? Okay, so it's incomplete, I know. We let it be incomplete for now. I want to talk about the way in which the Veda, so have you all heard the term Veda? Yeah? Veda is sacred knowledge that has been revealed by Bhagavan or Ishvara. You will hear me use these two words, Bhagavan, okay, not Bhagavan, Bhagavan. So you exhale when you say Bha, Bhagavan, Ishvara. Both are masculine nouns, therefore we say he. Okay, there's no gender discrimination here. These two words often used interchangeably, referring to God, and we will understand more about what God is. So now the Veda has been revealed to us by Bhagavan through different rishis. Rishis were were great masters who were able to see mantras, and they did not copyright the knowledge. They kept on sharing it, and so we have this sacred knowledge through the Guru Shishya Parampara, or the lineage of Guru and student. So you look at any culture in the world, and if we try to map any of our activities during the day or during our life, we will find that there are some activities, some projects we do, which is to secure wealth, property, just ensuring physical security, safety, right? And the term for that is artha. Okay, artha, a term for wealth, security. This goal, this human goal that is called artha, one will find across cultures. And then, so it's like, food. That's to ensure physical security. But that's not enough for us. Like suppose if we said there was only one stall, food stall in this entire yoga festival, some people would look, would start searching on Google Maps, which is the next closest restaurant. Why? Because good old food, maybe whatever is being offered, let's say some salad and beans and mashed potatoes, that's not enough for me. I want variety. So this wanting pleasure is another pursuit called kama. Pleasure through all the sense organs, right? So through the kind of food you eat, so taste, and the fragrances, we all know, we enjoy fragrances, whether it is the flowers or, what we wear on our body, and so on and so forth. Air, a lot of deodorants, a lot of air fresheners, etc. Okay. Then the kind of things that we hear, just don't want to have one song on the playlist. There has to be many songs, because of course music is wonderful and it gives me a lot of pleasure. So dance, skin, the largest organ of the human body. And so some of us are very tactile, and therefore unless we, get a massage, hug someone, kiss someone, we feel our day is incomplete, right? So pleasure at all levels, the way in which we use our sense organs to acquire something. So some sort of pleasure that I don't have and then I acquire it, that pursuit is called kama. And then there is another pursuit which is called dharma, or a human goal. Now that pursuit is such that it has many meanings, but one of it is the universal values that I embody. So if I had to ask you, what is one of your qualities or values? What would you say? like justice or compassion or kindness, or something that your day is incomplete without that value.
Yeah, I think it's a kindness.
Kindness.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. So, kindness is one subset of dharma, and it actually determines the way in which we pursue artha and kama, wealth and pleasure. So, none of us are in the mafia. Why? Because for us, we're not going to harm someone for the sake of money, right? And what determines the kind of pleasure that we seek also in terms of romantic relationships, maybe some of us are in open relationships, maybe not, but for those who are in monogamous relationships, the value is that of loyalty and commitment to one. Okay, that's dharma, the way in which you pursue pleasure. Some of us here are vegetarian, perhaps a lot, or vegan also, that you believe that for the sake of those few seconds of the food moving in the mouth, you are not willing to kill another being for the sake of that pleasure, because we all know that there are no taste buds in the esophagus, and then in the alimentary canal definitely there are no taste buds in the stomach. So for those few seconds, some of us will say, you know what, we don't need to kill animals for that. So the way in which I seek pleasure, even though I enjoy Thai and Italian and Japanese and different kinds of cuisines, the value is of ahimsa, least injury, or kindness, and therefore I follow dharma. Then there is another pursuit which we refer to as moksha. Literally, the word means freedom from limitation, okay, or freedom from a sense of bondage. But we'll come to that. Now that y'all have charted out your day, the kind of activities you do during the day, I want to request you to now classify it, okay? And what will be the framework of classification? Look at one activity, any activity or all activities, and then you decide, is it the pursuit of wealth? Is it the pursuit of pleasure? Is it the pursuit of dharma in terms of following certain values when you are acquiring certain things? Or is it some spiritual pursuit? Okay, we still haven't articulated what that spiritual pursuit is. So let's try to do that. Okay, and then I will request, after you do that, maybe about 2 minutes I give for that, and then with the person who's next to you, just share what you think you have come up with. Okay, yeah, make sense? Yes? Okay. If you all want to start discussing, you all can do that also. Hmm? So when you're discussing, you're going to tell the person, these are my key activities, and I believe that this is the pursuit of wealth, this is the pursuit of pleasure, this is the pursuit of dharma, and it's a spiritual pursuit. Your classification. Okay, I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. 2 more minutes. Yeah. I would also request you to look at the percentage that you would allocate to the pursuit of pleasure and wealth and dharma. A possible percentage, also look at that. Assuming that the day has 100%, so the pursuit of wealth, the kind of activities that I'm involved in, might be 20%, 80%, whatever that is. Yeah? Can you go with the mic?
I just wanted to know whether you wanted us to list the percentages in terms of time or number of activities.
More in terms of time. Just a broad, like a ballpark figure. Yeah? If we have a fair idea, we can begin discussing. Right? Okay, I know that you've not had enough time. I know that. But I just got us initiated into this. So now I probably will ask 2 or 3 people how they look at their day. Because before we go to the lofty purpose of life, we want to figure out what is the purpose of our day. And the assumption is that the way I have structured my day, all of us, the way we structure our days, is because we value certain things. We value certain people, we value certain situations, and we are seeking happiness. I think that's a fair assumption to make, right? Because across cultures, we will say, happy birthday, happy anniversary, happy 1-month anniversary. One young girl was telling me, oh, I'm so happy, I'm celebrating my first month with the love of my life. So anyway, happy. You're not going to catch my throat if I wish you happiness. No, I want other things in life, right? Universally accepted, even if you don't know someone, I wish you have a happy day, right? So the way we structure our day, the assumption is that it will contribute to some happiness in our lives. And the happy and sad truth is that we have a very limited time on this planet. So we want to make everything count. The tagline for my podcast is that you matter, your life matters, what you do with your life matters. Not at the end of your life, but on a regular basis. So now we are ready to discuss. Okay, who wants to share what their analysis of their day is like?
Hello, good morning everyone. I've actually accomplished in the very beginning, those 3 minutes you've given us, I've accomplished to write down very simply what that daily task would be, yes. And I
So can I ask if we had to look at it from the framework of pursuit of wealth, pleasure, dharma, maybe spiritual, what might it be? Yeah.
It would have been 20% wealth, which is actually different from last year because it's changing. And I would say mostly Dharma, 50%, and the rest would be, I would say Dharma and spiritual are very connected, right? So it's difficult to actually separate them.
Can you elaborate on the 50% Dharma?
Yeah, 50% Dharma. Maybe I share what I wrote, because it's then very simple. Okay. I wake up, make a tea or coffee, and I go into a Mayasana practice. The day follows as a surrendering into presence, into present awareness, meeting what is. Rather communicating, doing daily tasks, continue writing my children's book, or simply walking and nurturing my home's garden and my relationship.
Yeah, I see the
Yes.
simplicity. Yeah. And so for you, there is clarity on your dharma, that you are available to contribute, to nourish, to share, to care for all the relationships, right? It's not one to the exclusion of others.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Okay. Anyone else who has a little different day and maybe a different kind of ratio? Yeah, the person at the back.
Hello, everyone. So, I mean, I've got a mortgage to pay, so I have to 50% of my day is working. I would say 30% is some sort of dharmic exercise. And then 20% is eating and socializing with friends. But nevertheless, I do think to myself, how can I kind of bring some level of dharma into my work? Because such a large portion of that is in work, and I suppose it can be a challenge sometimes to work out how to frame my mind in terms of giving out to my company and my colleagues and the customers and so on. So yeah, trying to get there.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yes. Can you just wait for the mic to come, please? Yes. I said you're going to have a workout.
Hi everyone. I think I was so engrossed in writing a few bits on my phone, and my friend had to go outside and answer a live call, which was important. We missed the four parts of daily activity, the Dharma, and could you just repeat those for us, please?
So Artha is wealth, just literal translation.
Yeah.
Kama is pleasure. Dharma is universal values. And fourth is moksha, which I have not spoken much about.
Right.
Moksha is liberation, freedom from a sense of limitation, or freedom from a sense of bondage.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yes?
It's a bit of a question, actually, that I was looking at my activities and I couldn't decide between wealth and dharma, because certain jobs, say as a teacher, yes, you earn money, but there's a responsibility towards your children, students or whatever.
I teach because
it's very beneficial for the young ones to.
So it's dharma plus
although
artha.
Although they do pay for it.
Of course. And so dharma, it's dharma plus artha.
Okay.
The guiding principle is that you want to benefit them, and yes, you want to get paid because it's it's a valid contribution to yourself. And even with the money, you are looking after whatever you are.
Okay.
So it's largely dharma. Yes.
Yeah. On the other hand, my husband argues, who's got this very high-flying job, that because he does what he does, so many people are employed and they can earn a living, and therefore he is also doing dharma.
It's true.
Okay.
It's true.
Anybody could say that.
Well,
It depends on what you how you think.
Absolutely right. The motivation and the intention behind doing the activity. Because, few more zeros that get added to his bank balance is really not going to make much of a difference to him.
I think it does.
It does? Even if it
But
does.
yeah, even if it does. Yeah,
does.
yeah.
See, even if you want more money, what for?
Yes. Yeah.
It's to provide for the family.
Yeah.
That's dharma.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
no reason to feel bad or guilty if you want more money. What's the money for is the question. Right? And in all likelihood, it will be either to look after yourself or it is to look after others, to contribute. So that's definitely dharma. And that's what's going to stand you in good stead.
Yes, I guess it's how you use your money as well, isn't it? What you use it on.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think generally it's 30% of each at the moment. And I also wonder, as the gentleman at the back was saying, is it also to do dependent on the stage of life you're
Absolutely.
at?
Age and stage
When
of
you're
life.
younger,
There'll be more time
yeah.
spent on karma. Pleasure.
Yeah.
Maybe then little
it's different
responsibilities.
when you're retired, isn't
That's
it?
right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Thank you.
Yeah, in the Vedic vision, once you're retired or closer to retirement, you'd devote a lot of your time for moksha. Can you please go to the lady at the back? So, a reflection question for all of us. The way I've structured my day, does that bring me happiness? Yes? No? Maybe? What? How many say yes? Okay. Okay, the others are not quite sure. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So I had a question to start with, which is if you do something but it comes from the fact that it's a duty, or it starts with one intention but then it becomes a duty, where would you put it? Or, for example, or it could be a duty, or I should have, or at the end becoming like something that is not flowing, but something that you are like trapped into.
Because
whatever.
you're looking at duty as a burden. Is it?
It depends how you
Duty
do
is
it.
exactly. Duty can be a joy because I happen to be in a particular place related to a particular person. It's a privilege, it's a joy to contribute. Or I have to do this. I wish I didn't have to do it, but I have to. Oh my God, my shoulders are caving in. It's a burden. Right? So it brings me to the next part of the exercise, which is that, you had something to share?
No, I just wanted to ask a question for all the kind of artsy and creative people. So if you're an artist, obviously it brings you tremendous joy and happiness, which could be classed as karma if you're doing it for pleasure. But it's also, I feel, often quite spiritual and moving. So how would you class that then?
It would be dharma plus kama. Because it is, it's something that aids your absorption. You allow creativity, innovation to flow through you. A lot of creative people, truly creative people, will know that I don't know what happened. This doesn't feel like my creation. But you're so open to all the forces that you allow it to happen, right? So yes, it can be dharma plus kama. Actually, we want all our pursuits to be preceded by dharma, or rather dharma being the universal framework, because that is what makes us happy. So what I mean by that is the values that are core to me. Dharma also means like the law of karma, punya, papa, going to Swarga, which is a place for a lot of pleasure, fun, dance, music. Other religions refer to it as heaven, but our Swarga is not eternal. It's a place you go to after death, depending on what karma fructifies. So yeah, so now let's just hone in on the activities we do during the day, the ratio that we are giving the dharma, artha, kama, and inquire further. Whatever I'm doing during the day, does it give me happiness at all times, in all places, in all situations? Is there anything like that in your activity schedule? Yes, anyone? Yeah, can you share? The lady here. If you can just raise your hand so that he can, yeah.
I incorporate yoga into my daily life every day, and I do that at home. I'll do it when I'm on holiday, when I come to a yoga retreat, and going out to classes as well. So always.
So the activity makes you happy wherever you are. Of course, in all places, in all situations. Is it always possible? When you say do yoga, you mean asana?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could just be a little bit of stretching, or it could be an asana, or it could just be breathing.
And when one is not doing an asana, is one happy as well?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. We're coming to that, yes.
I think we create a lot of what we put a lot of tasks on ourselves by creating a false happiness, or a happiness that isn't really the true happiness. It just gives us pleasure at that time. So I think that when we live our lives, I think what we go through is we start to put into our bank account money, so we get attached to that, and then we may find pleasure in the material world and we become attached to that. So we're creating our own destiny and our own karma and our own dharma at the same time. I speak as a pensioner, so I spend most of my time working on my karma.
Everyone does,
Yeah.
right? So what we are looking at is this pursuit called moksha. Yeah? It is possible to be fulfilled at all times, in all places, in all situations, because the fullness that you seek outside is actually you. So I seek wealth because I want freedom from not having enough money for basics. Yes? I want pleasure because I want freedom from monotony and boredom and so on. Right? Whether it comes to food or entertainment or music, fragrances. I want freedom from sorrow, and therefore I align myself with dharma values. Because the beauty about dharma is that we totally get it. We don't need to be taught. A little child who is playing with another one, let's say 2 or 3 years old, both are playing, and then they are playing with a doll. The doll falls down, and they pick up the doll and wipe away the tears of the doll. So for the child, fall down, hurt, tears. Happens to me, happens to the doll. I wipe away the tears. This empathy is a part of dharma that I naturally feel for another person. The same thing with honesty. If a terrorist or someone who wants to hijack the flight will say, oh please, may hold a gun to the head and say, give me your wealth, tell me the truth. Okay, tell me the truth. Want satyam, the truth. So this voice of dharma is there in every human heart, and we want dharma to be the basis of our interactions, coming to interactions and coming to happiness. We'll come to that a little later. Which are the roles that I play in my life? I want us to hone in on that. So the way my day is structured, I'm assuming that I have 3-4 roles that I play. So I might be a parent, I might be a partner, professional, sister, brother, and so on. And so on a daily basis, if I want fulfillment, I want harmony in my relationships. Is that correct? And how do I understand whether there is harmony or not? I give a very simple exercise. So, what am I giving the person and what am I receiving from the other person? Okay? We'll talk about moksha consciousness a little later. Let's get real. Let's be really simple. What am I giving? What am I receiving? And what more would I like to give the other person? What more would I like to receive from the other person? Whatever you say is an indication of how you might want to tweak some areas of your life. Okay, so I give you another 2 minutes to do this. Try and do it in some detail, at least with one role of your life. Okay, pick any role that is very, very important to you. What am I giving? And don't say I'm giving love. Okay, please flesh out what that love looks like. What am I giving? What am I receiving? What more would I like to give? What more would I like to receive? Can you take the mic to that lady? Yeah.
Hi, I had a question about. I had a question about what you give and what you receive, and what more you would like to receive. Hello? Hello, hello. Right, okay. I had a question about what you said about what you give and what you receive. And I think I'm confused because I kind of understood that. Am I? Okay, I'm sorry. That when I'm giving, I'm not saying I've reached this place, but I want to be able to give without expectation of receiving, because otherwise there's no freedom in that.
So that would be what more I would like to give. I would like to give without expecting. But what are you giving? You're only talking about what's going on with you. What are you giving the other person?
You mean as in thoughts or actions
Yeah.
or
Your interactions, maybe physical things, the way you are with that person.
right. Okay, I think.
I'm really enjoying the thoughtfulness that's present in the room and the way you're applying yourself. It's yeah. It's good to think deep. We have been given a gift, we use it. Ah, okay.
I think I said a similar thing yesterday, but can it be about a relationship with yourself? Because for me, that's one of the most important relationships that I'm trying to work on at the moment. So I've written like that I want to give myself more
No,
patience.
oh, wait.
Oh, sorry.
What? So maybe we can, discuss it, yeah? What am I currently giving myself?
Currently, like judgment, doubt, criticism, and like very close-mindedness. So that's what I want to change.
Okay, what are you receiving from yourself?
Self-hatred, self-doubt.
So it's a spiral,
yeah.
What you're giving, you're getting back.
Yeah, essentially.
Right, and what more would you like to give?
I want to give more patience and space and acceptance. And I think in return from that, I would like to receive more compassion and less judgment. So I don't know if it's quite...
We don't have to evaluate it.
Yeah, I
You
don't
don't
have
have
to
to
quite
judge it.
analyse it properly, but roughly that's the sort of... Because at the moment, yeah, like I say, that's the relationship that I want to work on the most. So
Wonderful.
I
Wonderful.
didn't know if that was...
That's great. That's great. Yeah. So what you're actually wanting to give, or what you're, whatever we have written, yeah? What I'm giving, what I'm receiving, I'm actually talking about dharma. Correct? Because these are universal values. You spoke about acceptance and kindness and compassion and non-judging, accommodation. All of that. That is dharma. That what contributes to harmony in our lives are we ourselves embodying these values, and we also would like others to embody these values. You have a question? No? Oh, at least I saw that on your face. Ah, okay. Right. So, do you have any questions regarding what I've said so far? Is it making sense? Yeah? Okay. Any one person wanting to share what I'm giving, what I'm receiving, what more I'd like to, yeah? And, yeah?
Thank you. That absolutely chimes with what I was just thinking, because the time-consuming relationships in my life at the moment are my teenager and my father. My father's dying and he's beyond communication, and my teenager is beyond communication because nearly 20, so it is that. It's actually my deepest wish for both of them is firstly that I could talk to my father about the journey he's on, and also that I could talk to my child and be the go-to person for them to talk to, but we're at that stage where I just have to accept it's just not really happening. But that's my wish for the both of us.
Wonderful.
The four of us.
So you can pray for this, okay? You can pray for this. And you continue to do your dharma as a mother and as a daughter, right? So in what you're giving and receiving, your presence, your acceptance, your love, sometimes tough love also, because some disciplining, some boundaries might be required. But that's what you're giving, and what you're receiving, like you would like for some more understanding and perhaps space for you to express, but at least with the father is at a stage where, so the father actually needs more acceptance and love, right? So does the son, but he will just grunt and walk off. That's his communication. And so we say, okay, if you need anything, I'm here for you. A lot of times, in parent-child relationships, we don't talk, we just advise. We just, you have
I
something
think
to say.
it's really important to remember there's different ways of giving, aren't there? So if you can't communicate, there are probably many things that you're actually doing and spending time or, caring for. So you can show your giving in many different ways. So if you're frustrated by one particular channel, give yourself credit for all of the other channels that you're using, because we
That's
do.
right.
We express our kindness or thoughtfulness in many different ways.
That's right. So the 5 love languages, I remember doing
That's what I was
something
thinking
about
yeah.
that in one of the earlier sessions in the World Yoga Festival. So words of appreciation, quality time, presence, physical touch, practical actions, and so on. Right. So now, coming back to the purpose of our life, if the quality of our relationships is where what I want and what I'm giving and what I'm receiving is more or less okay, and there is not much of a gap between what currently the situation is and how I'd like it to change, then we could say that it's a relatively happy life. Yes? That there's not much difference. That I could just well say, oh, it's status quo. Now, if the gap is very wide between what I am giving and what, I would like to give, then I have all the powers to make that change. If there is a gap between what I am currently receiving from the other person and what I would like to receive, then I can share with the person what I would like without demanding, without hammering the person, and recognizing the freedom the person has to respond or not. Because here is where karma yoga will come in. My acceptance of the person, that the person is doing the best he or she can, and this is what the person can offer. You cannot be relating to a person without any expectation. Okay, this is not logical. Either your heart is so big that you are not dependent on the other person, but would you not like reciprocity, like even the person be cordial with you? Because if you say I have no expectations, then somebody can kick you, but I have no expectations. You do expect at least cordiality, correct? There's nothing wrong with having expectations. Because what you're expecting is the other person to be dharmic, to practice these values. And when we look at dharma, did I or you or anyone invent dharma? Dharma, this universal law of values, the universal law of karma, cause and effect. So whatever you do, it will generate direct results, visible results, and invisible results, what we refer to as adrishta. So punya papa, these invisible credit points in your karma account, which translate as sukha and dukkha, happiness and sorrow. The invisible credit points called punya, if you do something in line with dharma, that gets translated as moments of happiness. And then if I act in ways that are harmful, that are hurtful, then there is what we would refer to as debit points or papa, that translates as dukkha, sorrow in my life. And so I want us to repeat one verse from the Bhagavad Gita. It's straight in, it comes in the 18th chapter. Okay, we have skipped many steps, but that's okay. Yataf pravrittir bhutanam yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmana tam abhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. 18.46 if I am not mistaken. Is it right? Yeah. So for further reference, what does this verse mean? The first line, Yatah pravrittir bhutanam, that Yataha, referring to Ishvara, God. Who is God? That from which this pravritti, sattva guna, sattva rajas tamas, and all permutations, combinations, all forms, that from which all forms have come, that by which yena sarvamidam tatam, that by which everything is sustained, and that into which everything resolves. That is our definition of Ishvara. So not somebody sitting in Timbuktu. Okay? So right now, all the material that we experience, including this body, mind, and the people in our lives, including the annoying ones, they are all manifestations of the 5 great elements, Pancha Mahabhuta, space, water, air, fire, earth. Yes, that's why biodegradable plan is there after death, right? Can be buried, can be cremated. Everyone is made of these 5. I'm talking about the body, even the mind, okay, largely sattva. And what about it? Where have these Pancha Mahabhutas, where have they come from? They have come from Ishvara. So then did he just create and run away? Like, you babysit, somebody else will babysit this creation. No. Very much around. All the time blessing through the heads of departments called Devatas, deities. So like there is a Devata for air and for water. Water just keeps doing its job, air keeps blowing, and so on and so forth. Right? The law of karma, because of which we get the results we do. We have all experienced this. Despite all our best attempts at saving a relationship, communicating, and so on and so forth, there is still dukkha, sorrow. Right? It can be attributed to this lifetime. It may be related to previous lifetime. But who is the one that dispenses the law of karma? It is Ishvara. So then what shall I do? How does it help me? Well, what you really are is a manifestation of Ishvara. So that means that you are sacred. Why? Because where you are, Ishvara is there. All material. So how to better understand this? Because for us, the creator is always different from the creation. Then our humble spider comes to the rescue. In one of our Mundaka Upanishad, this is a beautiful example, Yathorna Nabhi. So just as the spider, okay, creates the web. And what is unique about the spider's creation is that the material for the web comes from the spider. Okay, the spider does not go shopping for the best discount deals for the material that I need to make the web. Material comes from the spider, the conscious being. What about the intelligence of how to construct a web? Because the web is always in corners or ceilings. It's not where you will, it's not right on the table where you can destroy it, right? So as a way in which other insects can be captured, the spider constructs the web. Did the spider go through any architecture course? You know, tensile strength of the foundation of the web? No. The intelligence to construct the web came from the spider itself. So here we have this brilliant spider. Maybe some of us might be scared. Still, we can appreciate that the material and the intelligence came from one singular cause, that is the spider, that is the conscious being. Correct? Yes? And this example can help us appreciate that the material that we are experiencing all the time, including this body mind, and the intelligence with which our cells, the law of karma, operates, as the singular source is Ishvara. And so there is no reason to be worried. Then how do I live my life? What is my purpose? Swakarmana. Then in recognizing Ishvara, I am not a simple person anymore. I have now become a devotee. A person who has devotion. Devotion is what? It's love. There's no other word. I feel love for the one that blesses me, that gives me all the time. Correct? Whom do we love? Someone who's there for me, who accepts me, who accommodates me, who is as unconditional as possible, who listens to me, who provides for me, and so on. Well, there is such a being that has been there for me across lifetimes and continues to be there for me in every moment of my life. That is Ishvara. If we have some ideas from our past religion or whatever we have dabbled in, we might struggle with the idea of Ishvara. Because for us, he was presented as someone outside of us, or that we needed to be saved, and so on and so forth. The Vedic vision is very clear that all the material that is here, that we experience, that is the material world, is not outside Ishvara. What is the material world? You know, the sun and the moon and the stars and the water and the space and the air and the Prithvi, you know, the earth and the fire, all of that. And permutations, combinations, it is Ishvara. So then how to relate to someone who blesses me every moment? Well, you will have little gratitude perhaps. Okay, maybe I don't have so much gratitude, yeah? Then how do I relate to my different roles? Swakarmana. How do I relate to Ishvara? Well, if I am a devotee, then it is a relationship that is not an exclusive relationship. See, if I am a daughter to my mother, or if I am a mother to my son, or a sibling, or a work professional, these are exclusive relationships. maximum you can double up. Like, maybe you are learning from someone and maybe that person is a friend. But they are all separate. But here is one relationship whereby it makes you a devotee, a loving person. Why? Because you see the love that you are blessed with, and you are not an ordinary mother anymore. Why? Because you see that in this age and stage of your life, according to the way in which the law of karma has unfolded, I have the power to make a change, to contribute to A, B, C, D people in my life. So how shall we relate to Ishvara? Swakarmanatam abhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. The person who is a devotee gains great success. How? What is the asana to be done? What is the pranayama to be done? What is the mantra to be chanted? You can do all of that by doing your swakarma. How do I know what is my swakarma? Well, you're already placed in a particular geography, and of course you have a history with certain people in your life, and how you relate to them with dharma, that is your worship. That is your worship to Ishvara. Oh, but I don't do puja, I don't know, what flowers and everything to offer. Well, you can learn that. That's a little more formal process where you are physicalizing your love for Ishvara. In the meanwhile, we recognize all our relationships, we see what more we can do for them, and we also have to answer the question, what is the change I want to make in my life? What do I need to do so that if I have to drop dead today, I know it is a complete and fulfilled life? Only I can answer that question. I, as in each and every one of us, can answer that question. It is likely to be living a life of dharma and contributing in some way. You might have a particular skill set or a talent, but you will think that your life matters because you matter. And how come you matter? Because there is clarity in your life regarding your purpose. Your purpose is determined by what you value the most, what needs to be there in every day of your life, so that your relationships are harmonious, and as a devotee, you are actually offering worship to Ishvara. So, ordinary mother, very stressed out. No matter what I do, not enough. Devotee mother, my relationship is with Ishvara, and because of law of karma, I happen to have this son or this daughter. When the devotee mother is relating, then I am open to what is, I accept what is, the powers that are given to me, I exercise those powers, I contribute to that person. There are some relationships where the relationships have run their course, and it may well be that to avoid further pain to myself and to the other person, I may say, Namaste, thank you very much, no more. Okay? But for most of us, we want to be able to contribute to happiness for people around us. Very often we have a beggar mentality. What can I give? What can I give? What can I get? This person is not doing this for me, that person is not doing this for me, etc., etc. But as a devotee, as a loving person who is relating to Ishvara, you already see all that you are blessed with. And you also have the power to tell the person what you need. And if the person cares for you, then hey, can you do this for me? This would matter to me. You spending time would really make a difference to my life. Not, you never spend time with me. So if you are barking like this, then obviously there's going to be a fight. Okay, and we all know where that leads. It goes all the way to your ancestors, your parents, and especially in India. So it doesn't stay local, it goes all the way. So in addition to the relationships that we have here on here as in like with people, the Vedic vision also points out to other factors that are important in our lives. Our ancestors. We are here because of our great grandparents, and it's likely we don't even know their names. We don't even know what was the contribution, but we recognize that they were there and therefore we are here. And so in every culture we have this, particularly in the Hindu culture, but you can design rituals around it. Every day, pray for your ancestors. Pray that wherever they are, that may they be happy and may they progress on their spiritual journeys. And if you feel gratitude for all that you have received, you can send a prayer to them also. So in addition to people, Manushyaha, Pitras, ancestors, we are also related to the plants and animals and the environment around us, what we refer to as Bhuta. Bhuta, beings, all kinds of beings. All the way Brahma Stamba Paryantam, all the way from the beings, the devatas that are there, deities that are responsible for different phenomena, all the way to the blade of grass. And so how can I share my care and concern for plants, animals, environment? Some of us have pets, but it doesn't mean that other animals are not important, right? So all this global warming would have not really been an issue if we recognize that we owe the environment, that there is a sacred relationship, and I cause the least amount of disturbance for my survival and even for my flourishing, and reduce the level of consumption. Because I am related to them, and therefore I make a sacred reverential offering every day. Okay, so watering your plants and all is fantastic. Okay, you are making a contribution, and whatever else you may do for recycling, reusing, etc. There are two more sets of people that we are very closely related to. One are the deities, the devatas, who are presiding over different processes, different phenomena all the time. It's difficult for us to imagine, but suppose you have a rule in your house. You don't enter, you keep your shoes outside. Like let's say, okay, you keep your shoes outside the tent. Now, who is going to dispense this rule? We all know, right? People can walk in, walk out with their shoes, they need not. But somebody has to remind them, and then somebody has to point out, oh, these are going to be the likely consequences. So the law of karma, what we refer to as punya papa, okay, sukha dukkha, all that, that is presided over by law of karma. But why is Ishvara giving me this kind of a life? Oh, well, actually, it's not his fault, because these were the choices I made in previous lifetime. So he's, it's like a video gamer, right? Somebody who creates a video game. Now, the video gamer, the one who created it, the creator, is not responsible for the number of people you killed or saved in the video game. You have the choice to save people or to kill people. Right? That's the nature of the video game. Dharma, adharma. And the video game gave you that freedom. The one who created it, that's law of karma. Then it's up to you how you play the game, the game of life. So here, devatas, deities, that is all a part of Ishvara. So to better understand, we can consider the different organs of our body. they have different functions. The liver's function is different from the heart and the lungs and so on. And if we were to imagine that these are deities who have different functions, but they all belong to one being, that is Ishvara. So they dispense results according to the laws of karma, and we are very grateful to the deities because we are being blessed every moment. And then finally the gurus, okay, the Vedic culture. So all the knowledge that we have, whether it is knowledge of sciences or knowledge of spirituality, it is all coming to us from our teachers and our gurus who have given with the generosity of their heart. And so, every day by learning something, by practicing what you have learnt, you are honoring the gurus, you are honoring the Vedic culture. So we all struggle with disconnection. But if we were to recognize that we are always connected, we are connected to people around us, we are connected to our ancestors, we are connected to the deities, we are connected to the environment, and we are connected to, whom did I miss? To the rishis, to the gurus, to our teachers, ever connected. And so every day I make a contribution, and that might be in the form of a prayer or a practice. What I continue to give, because I recognize how much I have received. And so, Swakarmana, the purpose of my life becomes a life of contribution according to age and stage of my life. So as a pensioner, or someone who's helping pensioners, what would I like to do? I would like to make sure that they have the financial security, stability, they are well invested so that they are well provided for. That's my contribution to the grand symphony that is actually playing out. But what happens very often is that we seek exotic, some mantra, some asana, some pranayama, some spiritual practice, so that we dodge what we need to do in our different relationships. Yes? Because it's a little painful. I need to deal with discomfort. I don't want to do that. But that's what dharma is about. That despite discomfort, I do what is required. Not out of a sense of burden, but recognizing that I am blessed and this is my contribution. So let me take a few questions now. So what might you articulate as your purpose of life? Immediate purpose might be to move out of the tent because it's getting a little warm. Yeah, anyone? Any questions, reflections?
Just to answer your question there, purpose of life is that reflection of that relationship with Ishvara, and just to continue to act dharmically. My question was though, when somebody behaves dharmically, and it's the reaction. So you were saying it's okay to have an expectation. So if your expectation is, is disappointment because someone has behaved adharmically, is how do you then deal with that if that continues to happen?
You tell the person. Yeah, because because dharma involves you being honest with the person. Don't catch the person's throat, but say I am disappointed because of whatever, and this is I would really request you to do ABCD, whatever that is. Educating the person about That's right. They may not know that they're actually disappointing you, and so being able to do that. You know, we confuse acceptance with resignation. Acceptance is not resignation. Acceptance comes from a deep sense of freedom. I accept that the person cannot behave differently because of the person's background. But if I am being hurt all the time, then I tell the person, I have the guts to tell the person, because I care for the person. I care for our relationship, that your words hurt me. Please don't say this. But often, you know, the pressure builds up, and then I just snap at the person. Don't talk to me like that. Then of course, you know, the person just shuts down. Right? Okay. Questions, clarifications?
If you have someone in your life who's a close relative and they don't hear you when you try to say what their actions and how they upset you, but they won't hear you and they just keep on and on and on, how do you deal with that?
I would like our relationship to be close. I would, you know, so that's what you tell the person, that I would really like it if we are there for each other. It's possible that I may have hurt you, and it's possible that you have shut down or you have withdrawn because of what I have said or done. Can you tell me what I have said or done that has hurt you, so that I can make amends, because you must know that I care for you. So rather than telling the person, oh, you disappointed me, because it's very possible I have disappointed the person, right? So I show a willingness to change. I show a willingness to be there for the other person first. It's possible that the person will say, well, actually, you know, I was hurt because of A, B, C, D, and then you have a chance to make things okay.
This is more a behavioural thing that's repetitive all the time with this person who's quite needy and needs time all the time, and I feel that I need to be, she wants me to be there for her, to entertain her, and I don't want to do that, but I don't want to hurt her.
You know, so here it's important for you to draw your boundaries, in the sense that I can do these things for you, my care for you stays, you know, doesn't change, and I have other things to do because these things are very important to me. So just, you know, and then it's up to her to deal with this. Yeah. You know, we cannot control the other person's reaction. A lot of us try to preempt it. I want I want my mother to think like this of me. Well, you know, that's her freedom. Let her think what she needs to. But with the freedom that I have, I act in a way that it's likely she will think whatever she needs to think. And if she doesn't, then that she's free to think however she wants. Right? We are all control freaks and we have to call it out. Okay? Yeah.
I just want to clarify the point you were talking about with karma, dharma, and then moksha. Do they sometimes go in stages? So sometimes you start off with a karmatic kind of activity where it's just about your pleasure, then it moves into something that's spiritual, and so on. Is that the correct thinking, or do you just jump straight into dharma?
Yeah. That's a very good question. See, how do we want to earn wealth? How do we want to seek pleasure? Most of us would like to do it in a way that doesn't harm the other person, right? But for some of us, the pressure of earning wealth and seeking pleasure is so high, I don't care what happens to others. So I may have to go through like a lot of different kinds of karma, suffer, and then say, well, I'm not having any of this. I need to align more with values. And then, as I'm living my life of dharma and I am seeking happiness through my many pursuits, I will also find that every experience begins and ends. The vacation begins and ends. The World Yoga Festival has begun and it will end. The most pleasurable experiences will begin and end. And then a lot of us become dependent on experiences. Without experiences, we feel incomplete. So when you start to make an inquiry into all the experiences of our lives, we will find that experiences don't do it for us anymore. And that's when we are ready for the moksha inquiry, which is a pursuit of self-knowledge, recognizing that I am that limitless that I seek. But for that, I need to align myself with dharma first, because I have to see the limitations of dharma also. The limitation is what? That, at the end of life, as they say in India when they take the funeral body, Ram Naam Satya Hai. That's what they, that all that is here is Ram, Ram Banerjee also. But Ram as in, referring to God. So, the futility that I have done so much, I have contributed so much, maybe I've left a legacy behind, but is that all that there is to life, that I was a doer and the experiencer? Is there nothing more? Well, if we reach that stage, then we will inquire into what is the reality of the doer. And that is Atma. Atma is a karta, was never the doer. Then what about the experiencer? Am I doomed to all kinds of experiences, good, bad, ugly? No, you were never the experiencer actually. So just like the screen, the screen, and if you're projecting like different kinds of movies on it, we too had a movie. We were the main protagonist. Didn't get an Oscar award, but there were different themes in the movie. There was romance, and then there was horror, and then there was tragedy, and there was comedy, and the screen actually didn't get affected. Some things happened, some roles were there, you gave, you contributed, you learned, you lived a life of dharma. The screen remained untouched. And the screen, without the screen, the reality that lends itself to different forms, none of this would have been possible. So if we are ready, then we can do this self-inquiry. And just like we don't expect one meal in a day to satisfy us, unless you're intermittent fasting, okay? Do not expect that one class, one session will be enough, right? So, because we are dealing with something very subtle, our thoughts, which make up a great deal of our lives, we need repeated inquiry. We need one-to-one discussion to clarify our understanding. We need learning to flow into our lives. We need our hearts to be open so that blessings also flow. And so we can be in touch. If anybody wants to have a one-to-one, I'm around. You're welcome to find me. And there are classes. Ram Banerjee runs them here. Me and Swami Brahmaprajnananda, we run online classes also. So Bhagavad Gita and a few things is all on the website. And then these books are available. You Matter. So, the lady in the peach t-shirt, your name is? Kiran. So she's taking care of that. You can approach her. Okay. Few more questions, or are we out of time? How are we? It's time. Okay. So if there are further questions, you can meet me outside. Yeah? Okay. It was lovely to be with you, and all the best. Om Tat Sat.